It's me again. New live hashtag lit. Hey, so look, I got a question, right? I don't know how long I'm gonna be on here, but I know one thing. It's ever since I was like, I think 15, I always, for some reason, wanted to smoke. So I think we started from I think my man, my homie Tully, he had a beanie. And he was like, he's gonna get you high, it's gonna feel like you smoked a cigarette. So we started off with beanies at first. And let me shut this window a little bit. I don't feel like hearing all that. So we started off with beanies, and it felt like I want to put the air on, but I'm gonna put it on my feet so y'all won't hear it, cause it will come right out on this one. I got the phone connected to my earbud. So we started out with beanies, and we swore we was high. And so I think my man Hawk got a hold of one of his grandma's cigarettes. But when we first started finding out we could, I didn't smoke that cigarette. When we first started finding out we could smoke, the Chinese store on 28th of Mars was selling loosies. And she let certain people get them, so we started getting loosies. And then from that, I used to see my brother come home from work. First thing he do when he come home from work, he'd take a shower. He'd come in and he'd put his beer in the refrigerator. Because he had a case. So it'd be something already inside of in the case. So he'd take like 4 out. And he'd put them in the refrigerator. So after he took his shower and got into his regular clothes, we used to get home around like 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Because the bakery used to close at 5, and we was catching the bus at this time. And from my area was sitting in the Washington Lane all the way up to this door jam, all the way up to down to South Philly. It's a long ride. So we get home around 7 o'clock. I remember back then, it was years ago, because different strokes was just coming on or just going off. I think I don't know what TV show that was. Coming on 7 o'clock. Jeopardy. After the number, my mom had to see the number. So he said put his beer in the refrigerator. After he get dressed and stuff, he would was his regular night clothes on. He would take his beer out, and he's sitting there. And this is what song was that? Telly Riley had Blackstreet, No Diggity. He said at first he'd be quiet. He'd be sitting there like just vibing. And I guess when he got enough of the alcohol in him, he actually started singing these songs. We didn't know he could sing. He was there singing his heart out. But I noticed like he looked cool. I like Bunky cool. He always looked cool doing stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna steal one of his beers. But I wasn't smoking weed. I was just smoking beanies and cigarettes. I smoked like 2 cigarettes. But I took one of his beers. It ain't do nothing. He drinking old English. I ain't have a buzz or nothing. So I drank another one and another one. I'm like, I don't get drunk off of beer. I don't know how people was doing that. I was like, I can't get drunk off this stuff. Not singing, not that kind of drunk he was, but I think one day, I don't remember when I first drank a beer. I know, we drunk, somehow we got beer. And I was wasted. But I ain't like that feeling. I'm like, I don't want to be that drunk, So what I did was, I think we had like a couple of weeks. I ain't drank for like a month straight after that, maybe 2. I ain't drink nothing. So after a while, um, we started smoking weed, and the weed had got me paranoid. That make me feel. It was like once you drink like a can of beer and then smoke an L, let's try that. So well, I get paid on Sundays at that time. So Sunday I wait till I get paid. I'm the only one like 16, 15, 16 years old with a job. I think, yeah, I think it was the only one. And so some days everybody would wait for me because they know I'm gonna buy the weed and I'm gonna get like 2 6 packs so we could turn up. And I did the can and then I smoked the weed. It was like a real good high. I was like, oh, I like this. Cause like I could rap, bro. Like my raps was coming out, like all out of nowhere. I was getting all these bars. It was just coming to me. My flow was different. It was like, yo, it's weeds. And I'm like, no, it's a mixture. So I never stopped doing that. I always would drink. The 40s was out at that time, so I started drinking 40s. So I would drink a 40 in the can. So I would drink half of like down to the label with the 40, and then I smoke weed. Then I finish the 40 and I smoke another L, and then I finish the can and smoke another L. So that back then we called them L's. So that never stopped. That was my routine. I think I was drinking Red Bull. I was drinking Red Bull at that time. And you couldn't tell us we wasn't high. We high. Can't nobody tell us nothing. Like our eyes bloodshot red. It was like the thing to be. Everybody knew we was high. And as I got older, let's say skip to like 22, I stopped hanging with like I stopped really being around people my age. I was hanging with this guy named George. I'm like 22 and he like 40. My mom was like, why you hanging around that old man? There's something wrong with him. Something wrong with me hanging around kids. And he became a close, like a mentor to us. Me and my man Hot, because I left 20th Street for a while. Like I still go down there, but not like I was. Like I was there every single day. I might come home, I go straight there, stay out there like an hour or two, and then I'll be sitting on my steps down the street on 20th Street. And George used to live next door to me. So he smoked more weed. So I started smoking weed heavier. But then like as it skipped years, so let's keep continuing. Same pattern. But I switched from Red Bull to St. Ives, and then I switched from one time I had enough for St. Ives. That my father-in-law told me to he was drinking Still Reserve. See, like drink this is only $1. Like, you never get not have a beer. Cause I would get paid Sunday and I'd be broke by Tuesday. Cause I'm buying weed. Back then it was this guy named Reggie Reg on Rainbow Street, 24th Street, and he had these big giant dimes. So you can get them. You roll like 4 L's out of that joint, a dime. And I started smoking a lot of weed, and I started rapping. And next you know, like we doing shows and we doing everything. I'm still boxing at this time, but not like active because I had broken my hand and they told me I couldn't fight no more. But now I'm looking up. I'm 49, right? And I'm thinking like, what in the world? My whole life consisted of turning up. Like, man, I always went to work. Always had 2 jobs. But like when I look, like what do. Why do I think I think even then with women, I was like trained like yo, you talk better when you high, you know. Because when you drinking, your confidence level is through the roof, you know. So it was more of a I got confidence without the alcohol though. So I always thought like I don't need this, but like it seemed like I'm having so much more fun. But now that I'm older, like the last time, let me see, I remember the last time I was drinking. It's like it was like I was with my wife, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this and do that, do this. And then as soon as I smoked the weed and I drank, I ain't do none of that. I don't talk to the death, you know. I ain't doing nothing I said. So I happened to just like today, like last night, I went to I smoked a cigarette while I was in the car. You know, with the windows up. I didn't even think. I just rolled the windows down to pluck the ashes, and I be plucking ashes all over my floor when I'm smoking. I'm a trifling nigga. So I came back an hour later and I opened the car door. That same smoke from the cigarette was when I opened the car door. You would think Cheech and Chong was in there. So much smoke was coming out. I didn't even see it while I was sitting in there. And I'm like, damn, if this car held that smoke with the windows up, imagine what it's doing to my body, like inside of my lungs. And I was like, I ain't smoking no more. I'm like, that's it. Sometimes it takes for us to see like that. I had to see that. Like I had to see like the smoke held in the car for a whole hour. And then it dawned on me like this is what's inside of your lungs. You don't got nowhere to go. That's why when you stop smoking, you cough a lot because you're coughing up the nicotine. So I'm just wondering why we think we need to get on. Or what are we escaping? Because like when I'm sober, I have so much more fun. I know where the time went at, everything. That's why we be like, oh, time flying by, no, because it's getting high every day. And then you crash. Is this America? Yeah, it's America. You say you talking alone? Yeah, I'm doing a live while I'm driving. If y'all haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, hit that like button. Because the content I'm bringing is basically what I'm experiencing or what I'm thinking or what I'm hearing or what I'm watching. I will have videos when I sit down and talk to somebody, actually interview them. They're coming next month. But I'm trying to let my audience know who I am, my character, you know, and I slip my message in their head for the time, you know, and we're going to go from there. I got a lot of shorts. If you start from the very beginning, you will see my growth. You'll see me recording on the bus, the train. That's before I started driving. That's where most of my content was coming from, on the train, on the bus, catching people nodding off and dipping. So that's what I was doing. I was just basically recording people without their permission. So I stopped doing that, and so you can see my progress, because you'll notice that I'm collaborating with other people now. Like if they got a video, I'll collaborate with them. I watch it, you know, as we watch it. You know, and I might have a response, I might not, but that's how I'm getting views and subscribers. And I appreciate all my subscribers. I had 155 subscribers last month. Now I got 650 by collaborating. So anybody that's on YouTube that can't find a way to get views or subscribers, go to the shorts, hit that plus button, and it's gonna say collaborate, share, all that. Push collaborate, and watch the video and do your reaction. I don't even react. I just if it's funny, I laugh. If it's not, if it's deep, I got the deep look, the deep thought look. But basically, it does it itself. People like it, they subscribe. But once you start finding out what your channel, like what everybody want, that's what you make your channel become. So, uh, why do we feel like? Why is it so hard to not be high? Why is it so hard? Like why would every time I stop smoking cigarettes, right? I go a couple of days, and I'm like, man, I don't know why I'm wasting my time with like not smoking because I want a cigarette to smoke it. No, cancer gonna hit my ass. See what I'm saying? I don't want cancer. My mom passed from it. My grandma passed from it. My aunt. It's just too much. And I want to be healthy. When you 40, when you almost 50 years old, you should be focusing on eating right and being healthy. But like down to the weed, the alcohol, the cigarettes, that's all I do. Well, that's all I was doing. But cigarettes is elite. But you don't. It's your mind, your brain is telling you like you need that cigarette. You need that cigarette. Smoke a cigarette. Once you get past the third day, I think you're good. And now I see why they say, oh, when hold up, when you pass the truck. Now I see why when they say when you stop doing something, you got to cut off the old people. Because they're going to still be doing it, and it's going to start looking tempting to you. But in my head, all I'm going to do is pretend that I never did it. Until I get the days in. But that's kind of the coward way out. It's just don't do it. But I just wonder why my brain is so stuck on like, yeah, smoking cigarettes. Somebody died, yo, give me a cigarette. We want a cigarette for everything. Or something happens, turn up. You graduated school, let's get drunk. Let's smoke. We do that kind of stuff because our brain. We don't. And some people here, they be like, "What else I'm gonna do? If I'm not smoking weed or drinking or smoking cigarettes, what else I'm gonna do with my time?" And that's what I gotta find. Like I'm going back to the joke, but I gotta find out what I'm gonna do with my time. Now a lot of people that around me, they're not gonna like this too much because once I find out what I'm gonna do with my time, I gotta do that for me, not nobody else. I can't worry about I ain't spending enough time with my wife. I ain't spending enough time, doing what I used to do. No, I can't. I gotta do this for me. Whatever helps me get over the hump, I gotta continuously do it. I gotta get another one though. But that's all I want to say to y'all. Like, why do we feel like we have to smoke? Or I gotta turn up. So anytime something happens, you turn up. And your whole life is looking right past you. Then from the drinking, your face start looking old. Your face get droopy, you get the drunk look. I don't know really nothing happens with weed. You know what I mean? Unless you smoke all day, every day, you just look high all the time. But like, I don't know what really happens with the weed. But it still alters my thoughts. It had me alert like a motherfucker, but I don't need my thoughts altered, or I need to be thinking 100% with my thoughts, not no extra weeded thoughts. And I know some people that don't even do nothing, and you wouldn't even know they don't do nothing unless they told you. Because they're right in the mix. People drinking, they got a cup. But inside their cup, they got like a big black one or like a blue one or something like that. You think they drinking with them, they got a bigger juice. And the people think they drink it. They ain't just say, oh, juice in here. They just drink it. I know some people can like make themselves feel high. So it's like mine would matter. So we really find out how weak I am or how strong I am. Because I'm gonna smoke one more cigarette and that's it. And you can't stop smoking and then go right to sleep because that's kind of cheating because your brain ain't telling your brain you sleep. So you got all these hours in because you can sleep. Then when you that's the hardest part when you wake up because you're used to that coffee, used to that morning cigarette, used to that I gotta go to the bathroom cigarette, used to after you do a good job at work cigarette. So you gotta break the habits. But don't think you can do it off your own strength. You can't. You gotta go to God, ask Him to take the cravings away, and believe it's done. Stop. Let me tell y'all something. Stop running to God saying, "Oh God, please help me when you're in trouble." But when you're in trouble, you don't even know Him. Stop doing that. And when you ask for something, believe you already got it, and you will have it. So I'm gonna end over there. I ain't sure. I'm gonna end that this live. Give y'all 20 minutes, much as I can. At least 20 minutes. You know, well, this live did because I'm tampering around with different times. I was supposed to have went live at 8 o'clock. But we're gonna see how it did. And thanks for being here. I will let y'all know through a live with my first interview, sit down interview on drop. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your subscription and your likes. Talk to y'all next time.